Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. It's my pleasure today to introduce you to Mindy Dougherty. How you doing, Mindy?
Good morning. How are you? I'm doing well, thank you.
Great. I want to do a quick biography on you, and then we'll come right back to you. Okay, Mindy?
Okay.
So Mindy is a nurse, a writer, an actress, an author. She has her books here today, an ambassador at Sweet Life CBD, and the owner and founder of Feed My City. So Mindy, let's talk about your story. Let's go to the beginning, shall we?
Yeah, so my name is Mindy Dougherty, and I am the author of A Resilient Warrior, which is on Amazon.com. That's me.
Perfect.
And this is the back. It just
Oh,
gives
yeah.
you a little detail of me as a U.S. Army veteran. And basically, I wrote this one as an autobiography, and then I also wrote a children's book called A Dragon's Voice.
I love it. A dragon's voice. Very nice.
So we'll go into this one first. I'm really
Sure.
proud. This one just got published a few days or a few weeks ago. And this is about learning lessons for kids to not steal, to create a win-win situation, to become friends, and to listen to their intuition. And then A Resilient Warrior is about my lifehood overcoming multiple abuses, sexual abuse from my brother, and also from the VA hospital, as well as being tortured for 4 straight months, being bedbound for 3 years, 8 months, and then overcoming all that to relearn how to walk, talk, and be able to function again. I had stem cells in Colombia from BioAccelerator. And so now I believe that I'm a positive influence for people that have come multiple adversities. And my book's in 17 countries.
Mindy, first, thank you for your service, my friend.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. That's so important. Mindy, can we go back to your story? Are you comfortable with
Sure,
sharing
yeah. Oh,
your
yeah.
story? Thank you. Because Success Diaries, I established about stories where people have overcome adversity, obstacles, and trauma and came out the other side. And there's a lot of people that want to hear your story and will think if Mindy can get through it, so can I. And I truly appreciate your sharing. So
Thank
can we
you.
start at the beginning where it all
Sure.
started?
So when I was about, I think 3 or 4, my brother decided he wanted to have a relationship with me that was not very brotherly. And at 10, he asked me to do certain sexual advances with him. And when I didn't want to, he had me gang raped and had my best friend watch in a van, unfortunately. And so between that and having an abusive relationship with my dad didn't sexualize me, but he basically wasn't there for me and would tell me to F off and get out of the house. And I was a summer child, so he would never really want me around. And so it was really hard to establish relationships with men even to today because the trust factor, number one. And then what I found that is when you're young and you have abusive relationships, you tend to bring that into your adulthood and think that abuse is okay, number one. Number two, that men treating you terribly is okay as well. And you don't even have the fortitude to figure out like what's right and what's wrong. You don't have a delineation of it. And so my last relationship, though it was abusive, it wasn't sexually abusive. So I allowed things to happen. And so I was emotionally abused, and I just would encourage women to realize that emotional abuse is still abuse, and that somebody yelling at you and frightening you and making you feel less than is not okay. And I finally broke up with him. And the reason I was with him is because he had a child. I couldn't have children. And so I thought, oh, I can be a mother to somebody else's child. And so I fell in love with the child, but out of love with my partner. And I wanted to be the mother that I never had. And living from that example, it still doesn't help because you're still being abused and you still don't know what's right from wrong, per se. And after all these years of therapy, I realized that I needed to get my voice out. So I wrote this book, and my grandmother asked me to write it about 20 years ago. Then she fell sick and with dementia, and she passed away recently, but I was able to give her my book and she was able to read it. And then we had a discussion about things, and she was able to actually pinpoint some things that did happen and answer some of my questions. And so for me, Though it was very hard to write because it was 4 years and it was very exhausting and it was very hard to realize how much I'd really gone through. But throughout the stages, I realized just because I've gone through this, number one, doesn't mean that I have to ever do this to anybody else. So if somebody thinks that, oh, they use the excuse, oh, I was abused. Okay, that doesn't give you the right to abuse somebody else. And throughout my stories, I'm very clear about what happened. And so I tell people that just because you've gone through something doesn't mean you have to keep allowing things to happen to you as well.
Wow, Mindy, thank you for sharing. I know you wrote the book, so you were very candid in your book about
Oh, yeah,
everything.
very candid.
Okay, so Mindy, if we could circle back. So when you were going through all of this, was there a point when you were able to get some counseling? Because I do want to ask you that. Were you able to get some counseling for all of the trauma?
So when we were younger, or when I was younger, my family didn't believe in counseling. They believed that if you go to a therapist, that number one, you'd be labeled as crazy. And my mom was actually genuinely afraid that I would get taken away from her because I had a smaller frame and the doctors were saying that you're not feeding her enough, this, that, the other. But she was feeding me and she tried the best she could. I say that as well. People are only able to give what they have at that time. So I give grace and I forgive her for all the things that she did based on what she was having. Plus, she was really young when she had me. When you have a child raising another child, you get, I don't know, disillusioned into thinking certain things are right or wrong. And so when I was 10, she tried to give me counseling, but then she pulled me out because she was afraid. But once I was able to get out of the military in 1999, I went to this course that kind of opened up all of my wounds again. And so that's when I decided to go to therapy and go on and off for the last 10 years, I'd say. And so I basically, last 20 years, basically on and off. And I just finished with the EMDR sessions for 4 months.
Oh,
And so now that I've reached my goals, my therapist said, you don't really need therapy anymore. There's really not much we can do. And I was like, oh, this is great. I graduated. And so now my main goal is to help other people get through what they're getting through and also encourage people to write their book or write their story, encourage them to speak out. I've had many men, unfortunately, from all over the world now basically have a discussion with me about their being assaulted as well and not having not the guts, but being embarrassed to say, hey, I was sexually abused by my mom or by my babysitters or by my sisters or by my aunts. And so I also encourage families to really watch who your kids are being watched by. And a lot of single parents don't realize that there are a lot of predators that come out that actually get into relationships because the kid is vulnerable and because the women or men are vulnerable at that time. So they use grooming behavior to groom the adults and then they'll groom the children as well. And they'll keep what's called, oh, I have a secret, or oh, let me take pictures of you. So I encourage parents to talk to their children about secrets and following their intuition. And that's why I wrote a Dragon's Voice. Not that there's any sexual stuff in this book because there's not. However, there's more or less lessons to teach children that if something feels off, listen to that. Listen to that little voice that says, something doesn't feel right," and go tell your parents. And if your parents don't understand or don't want to listen to you, keep going to somebody different until somebody actually listens to you. Because when I was a child, my mom would not listen to me as well. So there was just so many layers of things. And even till today, she just doesn't want to talk about it, doesn't want to admit it, doesn't want to discuss it because she finds it out of her realm basically to even have discussions about it. So that it got really hard for me to let her know. So that's also why I wrote this book, because if she wasn't gonna label it or announce it or understand where I was coming from, I was going to, and I was gonna make it very well known what happened to me there, what happened to me in the military, what happened to me post-military, so that we could open discussions because it just seems like it's still happening to today. And what's sad is women are like, or men and women, we're all like, oh, it's just sexual harassment. That's not even that good either. And you don't have to get raped or be assaulted just to have this stop. Like it's got to be bottom level. Bottom line is we need to stop at the first level so that it doesn't get amplified to where I got and where other people have gotten. And unfortunately, people have died because they've tried to come out. And so there's a big cases in Fort Hood, Texas, where women have tried to come out and they've been killed because of their story. So I've decided that I'm not fearful of anything really. And anything that's already happened has already happened to me by a person. So I was in 3 comas. I've had 4 organs taken out because I had pancreatitis. I had a parasite in Bosnia and Croatia when I was sent out there from Germany, and they didn't take care of it in time. So I had appendicitis and pancreatitis at the same time. Had to get flown to Germany, then find out I had appendicitis and pancreatitis. They took my appendix out, but then I still had pancreatitis for 8 years. And then finally got it taken out by a civilian doctor who actually listened to me in 3 different sections, though. So now I have diabetes. So
Oh,
there's just so many complications that happen throughout my life that I actually tell people, like, what happened, what steps to make in case you get these things, and then how to prevent most of this as well.
you've become quite an advocate for your, so you've gone through all the trauma and you've come out the other side. And one thing I commend you for is you are not victimized by this. You've decided
No,
that I'm going to empower myself and move forward and help other people. Honestly, Mindy, there are no words for any of, congratulations is the
thank
best I
you.
can come up with, and that's not, that doesn't even scratch the surface of how
Right.
empowering your words are to other people who've been through all of this. And as you said, you're now have a following of an audience of people who've been through it and are now
Right.
reaching out to you. So what a wonderful gift that you are
Right,
giving.
and they've actually written their own books in different countries. One was in Australia, one is in Russia, one is in Ireland. So all of these different countries that I feel like I've become a voice for, but I also tell them you're not a victim, you're a survivor. So
That's
if you're a
right.
survivor of things, then you can actually look at things a little differently to where you don't feel enabled by this or you don't feel guilty about things. Because a lot of people feel ashamed about what happened. And especially with child abuse, it's really hard because you don't have a voice. So then you grow up to be an adult and you still don't have a voice. So a lot of people think, I didn't have a voice and I'm ashamed of what happened. So they feel guilty and they go down this rabbit hole. And a lot of them don't seek therapy. A lot of them commit suicide. And I want to prevent that.
That's incredible. And can I ask you, while you were in the military, and I know things happened there and you pointed some of those out, were you empowered in the military prior to having a health issue where you went into the military and you had gone through childhood trauma? Did that give you a sense of centeredness for a while? Did that give you a control feeling?
Actually, no, I left my house because my mom was very controlling. And like at 18 years old, I had an 11 p.m. curfew. So there was just too many things where she controlled almost every single, not almost, she controlled every single aspect of my life and wouldn't let me live my own life. And so it got to a point where it was like, I need, I either need to leave or escape or get somewhere that I need to go. And when a recruiter came up to me and told me, you can be in the military and you can be a nurse or you can study these things, I was on board. And to become a medic, I was a field combat specialist. And so as a medic, I figured I could change lives there and make a difference. But I also knew that if we went to war, I wanted to be trained as best as possible. And so though Bosnia was considered a peacekeeping mission, there were still bombings and stuff like that were happening prior to us getting there. And then NATO took over, and there was supposedly a peacekeeping mission. However, it wasn't that peaceful when we got there.
Okay.
And so I was empowered actually by living in Colorado and becoming what's called the boss president. And I represented 20,000 soldiers to get things changed on the base. It's called Better Opportunities for Single Soldiers. So that's really what got me empowered to become a voice and an advocate for others that couldn't speak up for themselves. And then also get things changed on base as well as things around the world. So I was sent to Washington, D.C. to represent the whole base and then others as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Wow. Mindy, your story is just amazing. Now, let's talk about, if we can, your health today. I know you've been through a lot. How are you doing today?
Today, I'm remarkably well. Since I've gotten stem cells, I'm able to walk, I'm able to talk. My publisher was saying I don't stutter anymore, and I really want to go back for another stem cell treatment to get all the rest of the pain taken care of because it helps with pain, it helps with barriers when you're having brain issues, it helps with MS, Parkinson's, it's
Oh,
helped people that are in wheelchairs be able to walk again. And so when I had gotten there, I was actually still not exactly walking. I was still walking, but I would fall on my face. And so when I was on the plane, my legs gave out and I had to be wheelchaired back to by accelerator. And so throughout there, I was in a wheelchair as well. And now I'm able to walk. And so for me, it's been a blessing in disguise having all these people in my life right now that just came out the woodwork when they found out my story and they were really genuinely wanted to help me. And I almost feel like there's always been like a stranger who's been more competent and helpful than my own family. And so I also tell people sometimes your friends are within out without your family, and that's okay too. And if you create love without your family, that's okay too. It's just a different type of love. And that's what I had to learn. I had to learn that people genuinely loved me, but it was a difference. It wasn't abusive love. So I didn't understand how to comprehend what that love meant. And so I pushed it away for so long that now I'm able to accept it and be like, oh, wow, this person genuinely cares for me.
yeah, I can understand that because you've been brought up now with a set of glasses, if you will, looking at
Right.
like one way, and now you're trying to almost relearn everything in
Right.
relationships as you get older. Would that be fair, Mindy?
Yeah, I'm still working on myself so that when I do
Good.
have a relationship, it's solid and it doesn't come from misguided glasses. Like you said, I don't want rose-tinted glasses. I want them to be clear. And I want to make sure that I'm in a position where I can give all of me instead of just a portion of me.
Absolutely. Are you in a relationship now? And you certainly don't have to answer.
No, I'm not. I'm very single, but I am open to dating as well now.
Oh,
I
okay.
wasn't before, but I'm very open to it now.
And you're deservedly, you should be getting the best plus one, Mindy. So
Thank
when you're
you.
in a relationship, I only wish for only the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Now, Mindy, as you go forward, where do you see yourself going in the next 5 years? You've written a couple of books, and we're going to make sure I'm going to let everyone know where to get them. I also want to point out to everyone, if you're going through these traumatic things, as Mindy said, she found help when she could. Please reach out to professionals and
Yeah,
get the help as soon as you can. It's so important. Honestly, I'm not an expert. Mindy's gotten help where she can, and I humbly wish all of you to get the help that you need. There's professionals out there that can do that. Would that be fair, Mindy?
absolutely. And I see myself in the future still doing public speaking events. I'm also a Watsu therapist and a Watsu practitioner, which means I give shiatsu massage in warm water for people that
Oh,
have anxiety, depression, MS, Parkinson's, strokes, and people that are having brain disorders or brain issues, past cancer, pregnancy, all sorts of issues. And so I still see myself as a practitioner, and I'm also a nurse. So I'm doing long-term care nursing for the state for people with disabilities and teaching caregivers how to take care of their personnel. So I want to basically keep writing and keep advising people on what to do, but I'm also going through this 8-week course through Syracuse University that is going to help me propel like business orientations and stuff like that. So it's like a business class for military women and veterans. And so I just feel like if I can be the best example that I can be, then that's what I want to do. And I want to be able to do public speaking events. I'd love to do like more independent films. If there's somebody that wants to do a series or a docu-series, I'd love to do that or do more podcasts and get my voice heard to where it's on a multi-level where a lot of people can just reach out. And if you are hurting or you are thinking about committing suicide, please do reach out. If you don't have anybody, please contact me and I can help you get that.
Oh, especially if you're coming to the point of feeling like suicide. I've had some guests
Yeah.
on that have absolutely talked about their stories with that, and they have reached out, gotten help, and now are definitely proponents for helping other people with that.
Yeah.
Boy, that's so dangerous if you get to that point.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And
Me,
unfortunately, I've lost a lot of friends to suicide. So I feel like it's so important to tell people, like, before you even get there, if you're depressed, please reach out. And if, like I said, if you don't have anybody to talk to, reach out to me. I'll listen.
you're wonderful. And with a nursing background, you understand the medical field. You
Oh,
understand the
yeah.
psychology, you understand the medical side, physical, medicine, all of that. So you've got quite a toolbox of your own to be able to help people with.
And I've been doing this since I was 18. I'm now 48. So 30 years later, I still want to do exactly what I set out to do.
You said 48, and I'm thinking she doesn't look
Oh,
48.
that's good.
You definitely do not. You definitely don't look that. Now, I wanted to ask you, you went for stem cell help. Where would, is that in United States or where are you
Now,
located?
unfortunately, there are places in the United States, but they're not as good. And so that's why I had to fly to Colombia. And in
Oh,
BioAccelerator is working really hard to get this in the United States, but the FDA won't approve it because it's about the money. America believes in care, not cure. If they cure things, then the medical community doesn't get money. And that's unfortunate because I am part of the system. So I feel like if I don't speak out also, I'm part of the problem, not the solution. So I flew to Colombia with BioAccelerator to get stem cells put from literally my head all the way down to my toes and got some spinal cord, stem cells put in my spinal cord because it's the only way that stem cells can cross the blood-brain barrier. And that can help with strokes, that can help with MS, that can help with Parkinson's, and it can help with all these disorders that people have that they don't know how to get help for. And though it's expensive, it was completely worth it because I have my life and I have a whole new
yeah.
outlook now. And I'm not in as much pain from when I used to be because I have something called chronic regional pain syndrome. And that's also called the suicide disease because you feel like you're neurologically burning 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's the worst disease to have. Not that I wanted to pick it, but again, I've overcome a lot of things and I'm working through that as well. And so I feel like any barriers that I've been working through, I feel like I can be a voice and help others through. And I
That's
really love in the future to get televised so that I can get my voice heard even more.
I want to be able to promote you, Mindy, and I want to be able to help you with your organizations that you're working with, your books and all of that. Is there an organization or is there something I can do here to add to our show notes that would help you? Or are
So my books
you?
are available on Amazon.com. And then I'm also with BioAccelerator in Colombia, Medellin, Colombia, and I can give you that after we're done. And
Sure,
then also I created a company called Feed My City, and
I
that's
saw
for
that.
profit, where basically I encourage people just to give their organic produce, or if they grow on their own, produce to food banks because there's a lot of people that need it right now. And the food that they get is molded most of the time, and everything that we get for the pantries are expired. So, though I'm grateful that they're getting something,
Right.
we need to do a little better in the United States.
We do have an organization here as well that does that. We have one here in my city called Feed the Need. We have different organizations that we have that and people can donate food to as well.
That's
So those
great.
organizations are great. I
Great.
know that some of the grocery stores also, you could purchase units that you
Oh,
can
good.
give to the poor. So perhaps you have that in the United States. I don't know. I'm up in Canada, but we certainly do have that.
Oh,
And
that's great.
yeah, and the organization you have, if you want to send it my way, I'll definitely put it in the show notes so that people can give to those organizations where you are too, okay?
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Now
This was
on
great.
Amazon, they can get both the books. You mentioned
On
that.
Amazon.com. So it looks like this, A
Hold them
Dragon's
both up
Voice.
again, yeah. So a dragon's voice, perfect,
And
and
then they put
now
in my name, Mindy Dougherty, and this is how you spell it.
perfect.
And then Amazon.com also has a Resilient Warrior, which has my face on it.
I
And
love it.
then Mindy Dougherty, Mindy, last name Dougherty, Dougherty. And you have to put that in there, otherwise you don't find the title for some reason. Like I said, I'm just grateful to get my stories out, and I'm so grateful for you to have me on the show.
Absolutely. Do you have a web page too, Mindy?
I don't right now. It's
Okay.
just basically I have Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
TikTok, and LinkedIn.
So I'll make sure all those links are on here as well. So after we're done the
Great.
show, I'll make sure we have all of this added to it, Mindy.
Great. Thank you.
Unbelievable. Thank you for sharing your story today, Mindy. I truly appreciate it. It was heartfelt and it really will help so many people. And that's my message, and I hope I can help you do that. And we'll
Great.
continue on. Now, I also wonder perhaps you'd like to come back again down the
Oh,
road
that'd
and
be
we can
great.
see. Yeah, we'd like to see how you're doing and if you have a new book in the works and maybe a movie. I don't know. You're doing
Yeah,
something.
we're working on things in the background. Hopefully, maybe a docu-series, but we're waiting to find out if that's going to come through or not. If not, if anybody wants to contact me, I'd love to be a part of that.
Perfect. Thank you. And I'll make sure that's here too. So, Mindy, thank you again to everyone. This is Mindy Dougherty. Please go over to her Facebook or LinkedIn, Instagram. I'll make sure it's all here. I truly appreciate your time today, Mindy. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I hope you're all having a great day. Do subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that. Have a great day, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Bye bye now.